I can understand the pain in the submissions of Dennis and the frustration and the open endorsement of the recklessness that more or less took place in Parliament as a result of the decision of the Clerk of Parliament to write officially to the Electoral Commission declaring the Kpandai seat vacant. Unlike them, I think that it is important for us to put it in perspective. I remember quite clearly that after the Tamale High Court ruling, some leading members of the NDC in Parliament, the majority group, indeed actually called on the Speaker of Parliament to proceed to declare the seat vacant.
Yeah, that was led by the Majority Chief Whip.
The Speaker resisted that invitation to do so and supported his decision in law. That was when he made references to CI 19 and the 7 days stay that automatically comes with execution judgments of that nature, and resisted the call by the NDC majority to declare the seat vacant. At the time the Speaker did so, my brother did not see an objective Speaker, a Speaker who had taken a position clearly against the party's position at the time in Parliament. That was principle. And so for you to sit here and assert that this is a Speaker that has always been partisan, it is unfair to the facts. And my brother likes doing that. And we are speaking to people who follow many of these events. And this is not the first time the Speaker has taken a position contrary to the wishes of the majority side of the House. Even not just in the life of this Parliament, the Parliament before. We are taking serious decisions even against the swearing in of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo after his election as Speaker. He went against our position as a party and proceeded to preside over that ceremony. When they boycotted the swearing in of President Mahama, if you remember, especially after the 2012 election. So Speaker Bagbin at every step of the way has demonstrated fidelity to the laws of this country, not just to his partisan affiliations. None of the speakers you appointed in the last 8 years, in fact, I should say the last 4 years under Nana Addo, because you didn't succeed in the second term. Even Mike Okwe, did he demonstrate any iota of objectivity in relation to how he conducted affairs if you compare him to Speaker Bagbin? And so it is unfair and not supported by any facts to sit around this table and assert that the Speaker has always been partisan. That's not true. Again, you see, Nana, having said that, there's a distinction between what the law says and the responsibilities that you have under the law and that of the role of the Speaker. If you look at our Constitution, Article 1125, it is stated clearly that the responsibility of communicating vacancy to the Electoral Commission is that of the Clerk of Parliament, not the Speaker of Parliament. Stated black and white in our Constitution.
He cited same in his letter to the EC.
Absolutely. So how do you drag the Speaker into this matter? When in the first invitation, the Speaker resisted that invitation to declare. The 7-day window has now passed. The person mandated under the laws of Ghana to invoke or initiate such a process has done so, which is in tandem with our constitutional provisions. If you have a problem with that declaration by the Clerk of Parliament, what do you do? What do you do? After all, we all know that the last time this same Speaker declared certain seat vacants, the minority leader proceeded to court to challenge that decision of the Speaker. Not so. What has changed? We don't have our courts again. Are there no court systems in the country again? So what gave him that courage under Nana Addo to feel that the appropriate response to challenge the Speaker's decision was to go to court. And suddenly he cannot go to court again. The courts are no more. What has changed? Is it because there's a change of government? So by that act, is he conceding that in the past he had some control over the judiciary of our country? Because that is the law. If you feel so strongly about the decision of the Speaker or the Clerk of Parliament, challenge it. Indeed, there are two ways you can challenge it. You can challenge it through the Speaker. According to the rules of Parliament. Not noise making, not demonstration. You think Parliament is a market square? It is operated by rules. So even if you are not happy with the conduct of the Clerk, invoke the internal rules of Parliament in an acceptable manner to bring the Speaker's attention to it through motions. You haven't done so, and you think the Speaker should mind you because you are making noise in Parliament. And that gentleman called Anodompre, this is not his first time. Indeed, this is a gentleman who extended an invitation of Nanado to sidestep our 1992 constitution, not to hand over power to John Dramani Mahama, because his parliamentary seat were undergoing through some challenges. Was going through some challenges. The same character. It is that same gentleman who led a group of NPP parliamentarians to disrupt vetting processes and turned tables down. That same gentleman. And yesterday had the effrontery to say that they will bring government business to a halt, not NDC business. Government business, keyword. That is the disdain, the disrespect these guys under the cloak of the MPP have for the republic of this country and the good people of this country. That's how they disrespect us. When it comes to their interest, Ghana can go to hell. It is about what they want. That is the kind of party we are dealing with. And that is why it should be the responsibility of every Ghanaian, not just the NDC, to communicate in strong language to the MPP that what we did to them in 2024, the rejection, is just a tip of the iceberg. Indeed, it is our responsibility to ensure that the NPP never rises in the politics of this country. Because if there's any political party that constitutes a threat to our democratic stability, it is the New Patriotic Party. And so the 2024 election is not the end of the disciplinary measures that must come heavily on the NPP. We must make sure that we continue to keep them perpetually down and produce a second force worthy of participation as far as our democratic space is concerned.
You don't think the NPP is?
Absolutely not. And it should be our objective, every Ghanaian, to keep them down. That is why the NDC will compete with them on any parliamentary seat that is declared vacant. We must annihilate their presence from our democratic space, because it's a major blot on good governance, that political party and their operations. We must face it. And so, because if you have people like Anodompre leading the party in such lawlessness, and this is not the first time,
leader in the house, not a
leader in the house, with such lawlessness, what do you expect? Have they invoked any of the internal processes of Parliament to challenge the decision? Come on. You see, on another platform yesterday, Nana, I said yesterday, I was blunt, and you know how some of us operate, that look, the Clerk undoubtedly, I agree, that ought to have exercised some discretion to wait. At least because I'm told that today they will be sitting on the stay of execution application at the High Court. So for me, I think that there was nothing wrong. And I made that clear yesterday that he ought to have exercised that discretion to wait. after today's decision, it could inform the direction of the House. But he didn't, because he's also under a constitutional obligation.
True.
To declare. But the fact that he has declared doesn't mean that if today's ruling comes out, it will not undo his declaration if it goes in the favor of the Kpandai MP. It does not mean that it will not undo it. And if it undoes it, that is the rule of law. Parliament or the clerk would have no other option than to respect it. But in line with democratic ethos, I preferably would have wanted him. I would have wanted him to wait a little. I would have wished that he had waited a little. But he has not done so, because he also has a constitutional imperative. Because I respect
the
that.
7 days are
over.
expired.
But for me, my issue was not just with the 7 days. Even under CI 19, since even after the 7 days, if there's a stay of execution application, if there's a stay application, in a way, according to CI 19, it operates as a stay, even after the 7 days. The 7 days, the law tells you that the 7 days, even if there's no application yet, the judgment must be stayed for 7 days to see how the person who lost would proceed.
Because it's appealable.
Because it's appealable. Now, the same CI 19 under Rule 27.2 is telling you that even if after the 7 days, if the person brings an application for stay, then it must then operate as a stay.
The application.
So you must stay the processes until such a time that the application is heard and decided. And that's why I would have preferred. This is my understanding of the law in principle. And that's why I said that I would have wished that the clerk had exercised that discretion to wait. But then again, the clerk operates on the basis of a constitutional provision, which is Article 1125, who says that if there is a high court, if there is a decision about the vacancy that has been communicated to him, he must, within a certain specified period, also inform
the
EC to proceed on the basis of that notice. He has gotten the initial court order. He has proceeded on the basis of that to discharge his constitutional obligations by informing the Electoral Commission. Mind you, the fact that he has informed the Electoral Commissioner does not mean that the Electoral Commission will itself is prevented from proceeding to act. Especially when there's a court injunction, that can also tie the hands of the Electoral Commissioner. Not so?
Yeah.
So even if the clerk had presented the letter to the Electoral Commissioner, that gives him or her 90 days to proceed to conduct elections. Nana, the MPP still could have gone seek an application or a court order directing the Electoral Commissioner in the form of an injunction not to proceed. They did not explore all these avenues. To them, Ghana is a banana republic. And if you listen to Miracles, that was the kind of picture he painted.
It looks like if I'm not here, I'm not sure if people to speak. Make your point.
Let it go. And we all do what we want to do.
I can reference you.
Let it go. And we all do what we want to do. Let it go. And we all do what we want to do. Let it go. And we all do what we want to do. This is not a banana republic.
True.
And
you've already turned it into.
And the NDC
you've already turned into
on the fence.
You have appointed 70 NDC judges
the NDC
to balance the bench. You've already turned into a banana republic.
The NDC will not sit on the fence and allow them to turn it to banana republic. We will show them that when it comes to the laws of this country, there's a political party that is committed to upholding it. And no matter whose ox is God, we would make sure that we apply the law to the latter. And unlike them, like I have indicated, that's the telling difference between the NDC and the MPP. I have told you that preferably I would have wished that the clerk had exercised a discretion to wait a little. But he has not, because that is his constitutional imperative. But that does not mean that all avenues of challenging same are closed on you. And you do not invoke such avenues by lies and recklessness and noise and obstruction. Who the hell do you think you are to obstruct government business in this country when NDC is in power? You dare not. You can't. So the gentleman should stop that noise. And they should even thank God that we have a gentleman as president of the Republic of Ghana. In the person of John Dramani Mahama, Echi. They should be thankful that we don't have a character like Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as the NDC's leader today. What they did, they would have been met squarely. So they should be thankful that we have presented.
But what
and
the,
say,
what
Father, no, you've been
is a
speaking
tool
for
available to
I ask you to come
to the
late.
judgment, to the judgment,
the judgment of the High Court.
to the judgment of the High Court. He made
How does
reference
he
to
come
that.
late to come and claim equity?
Okay, this one they are making an appeal.
Yes,
Just
you have
very
to
well. Please.
You are late. and you are saying,
I concede. You see, that's the beauty of the NDC. When we are wrong, we concede.
You concede.
That's the beauty of it. You see, as for them, they don't know when to say they are wrong. So, but you see, I concede I'm late, but I'm just pleading for 5-10 minutes
You can have 5 minutes.
to respond to the
8:30,
issue
you can have
about
5
the
minutes.
judgment. You see, common sense can be beautiful. Common sense is attractive. Common sense is piercing. And we all do. But I have seen my brother's obsession with this ideal of common sense. Common sense in the field of, say, IT would have its limits.
Yeah.
Common sense in the field of engineering would have its limits. You don't seek to understand engineering models with common sense. Same way you don't seek to understand IT models with common sense. Sometimes, too, you cannot understand certain legal principles by merely invoking common sense. We all have common sense.
Yeah.
If it is common sense, that was the bar. There wouldn't have been the need for judges to sit in cases and adjudicate them. There wouldn't have been the need for judges to go through a certain form of training and a lawyer is going through a certain form of training to be able to adjudicate cases. Because everybody has common sense. We all do. So that should tell you the limitation of common sense when it comes to our professional bodies. And so you cannot seek to sit on this platform and fetch into the arena of common sense to attempt to understand the judgment of the High Court judge. Just as common sense would not be able to assist you in how to operate these gadgets we have here, because that's not your field. But your failure to do so doesn't mean that you don't have common sense. You do. Now, if you look at the laws of Ghana, when it comes to parliamentary elections, not presidential elections, it is the High Court that has exclusive jurisdiction to deal with it. And the appeal ends at the Court of Appeal level. You don't go to the Supreme Court.
Is there a period within which the High Court should deal with matters of parliamentary petitions?
Yes, there's a period. If I say a period, it doesn't mean that there's a timeline that ought to operate, by which time the judge, no matter what, must give a ruling. No. But you invoking that jurisdiction, there are certain specific timelines, especially when it comes to our electoral laws. So if you waste time and that period lapses, you may be debarred from invoking it. But the principle is that it is the High Court judge who makes that determination, not the Court of Appeal, not the Supreme Court. If you disagree with the High Court's ruling, that's when you go to the Court of Appeal. That's where it ends in parliamentary elections. So you cannot seek to sit here and use the legal principles that underpin conduct and adjudication of Supreme Court presidential elections at the Supreme Court level. That has also been mandated under our laws and constitution to handle presidential elections. That's why it is not the High Court that deals with presidential elections. You don't seek to use those principles to seek to understand decisions of a High Court judge. And that's what he did today. The High Court judge has indicated that, look, I have looked at the polling stations. Out of these 44 or over 41 polling stations, they are all tainted. And it will not lead to a true reflection of the vote of the Kpandai people. And based on that, I am proceeding on the powers vested in me, by the powers vested in me, to declare the election null and void and to order for a rerun. That power is legal. That power is supported by the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. That gave him that right. So what is illegal about it? How do you seek to use common sense to deal with this matter? When the judge has indicated to you that he has looked at the polling stations, out of the 41, they are all tainted, and it will not lead to a true reflection of the people. So if you have, say, 100 constituencies, for example, and 20 are tainted, that compromises the legitimacy of the entire election. He should leave it. Or he should tell you to go and vote in those 20 elections.
He says that the evidence brought before the judge were on 41.
Yes.
So do not assume that the impact of the 41 covers the 152.
You see, sometimes that is the problem I have with my brother. Why do you know the evidence that was available to the judge? You are not a party in the case. Do you know the evidence that was laid in court? That led to the judge's exercise of such a discretion? In time, 2008. At the time, it didn't make sense to many of us, even in the NDC. When the electoral commissioner said that she was going to go to, Afarijan said he was going to time. Because majority of the people had voted, the results were quite clear, and you needed us to go to time. But his point was clear. It could change the outcome
of the elections.
Very well.
Hamza, hold on for me. I'll come back and give you some 2 more minutes to wrap up on this. But let me take a quick break. Let me take a quick break. So he's appealing.
No, but what he said is not appealing.
He's appealing. He's appealing. That is, hold on. This is Breakfast Daily on ChannelOne TV. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. This is Breakfast Daily on ChannelOne Television. We're having the news review segment. Dennis Miracles Abuaje is here. Hamza Suhuyini is also here. Let me go back to Hamza wrap up on this. He needs to at least let's have him wrap up.
Next time Dennis, I come and Hamza is not here, I will not show up.
Dennis, let's have him.
I will let you sit here. The guy is not appealing. He's basically saying he needs to.
Dennis,
I made a matter of rights. It's law.
Dennis,
it's law. It's not common. So it's law. We are not brothers. You are NDC. We are not brothers. We are not.
They are brothers on both
sides.
You
are undemocratic. You belong to a party that is rogue. Or a party that is abusing power.
National Democratic Congress.
They are abusing. Which party abused power? Yesterday. Who is in yesterday? We are in today. Who is in yesterday? I wasn't in yesterday. I am here today. This guy has.
Dennis has signed a pact not to tell the truth as far as yesterday's happenings are concerned. You can tell. His decision is that
signed a pact too.
Only God knows. But he's not willing to speak the truth on today as far as his platform is concerned.
What is the truth?
Nana, he also raises issues with the 41 constituencies, polling stations that were the basis of the court action, that constituted the basis of the court action. Mind you, per our electoral laws, when a coalition center is designated, you are precluded from changing that coalition center. Now, evidence was led before the High Court judge that showed clearly that the Electoral Commission, in acting together with the NPP, moved that Electoral Commission, the coalition center under suspicious circumstances without the knowledge of the other political parties.
But this was as a result of the violence that was happening.
No, it doesn't matter. There is a law. There's a certain, the law regulates all these things. The law regulates it. Where you have to move it to. You seize the coalition when there are problems and call the security. They will protect it. And indeed, there was a security station there. So the reasoning behind the movement alone fundamentally exposes the challenges with the electoral process. And so the judge was grounded in law to use the decision to suspiciously move the coalition center by the NPP and the Electoral Commission without the knowledge of the other political parties as basis to declare the entire election null and void. Because at that material moment, it was not just about the 41 constituencies that were before the judge. It also had to do with the blatant disregard for the electoral laws Because when it was moved, so many things happened. The other political parties were not there. It was the NDC, NPP, and the Electoral Commission. So how do you then vouch for the integrity of the many other polling stations that they declared when the other political parties were not there? These are the fundamental issues.
It's okay.
Again, the 41 constituencies that the NDC took to Parliament, it was because the NDC knew that a nullification of those particular polling stations would have an impact on the outcome of the results. Do you think that if we knew that the 41 polling stations, if they are nullified by the judge, it should not have an impact on the outcome of the results, we would have taken it to court? Who would do that? It is because it would have affected the election results. That's why we took it to court. And so if the judge proceeds to make a determination and says that coupled with the 41 constituencies that are in dispute, polling stations that are in dispute, also alongside the decision, the reckless, the lawless decision to move the coalition center by the Electoral Commissioner and the MPP to another place, in itself constituted enough grounds for the judge to have declared the elections null and void and lacking integrity, which he did. So what is unlawful about this? So my advice to the NPP is that the door is still not shut on them. It is either they look at invoking the internal rules of Parliament. Dennis, you can advise them. At least I'm sure they will listen to you. You can advise them to invoke the internal rules of Parliament, or better still, go back to court. Seek an injunction to prevent the Electoral Commissioner from proceeding because they have an application before the High Court and the Supreme Court.
Right.
And allow the judges to make that determination. But when it comes to issues of, because they have changed the Chief Justice, and so the judge, I heard him say something to that effect, but he's forgotten that they set the precedents. So when they were removing the Electoral Commissioners left and right.
Let us continue. It's okay.
Very well.
We should continue.
yes. But I've said that publicly. I'm not hiding. Nana. You see,
Hamza. You don't have anything to say again.
Hamza.